Gullah Gullah Island. Gullah Gullah Island. Dude. Oh, that feels so good on my brain to hear that.
No, I love that.
We used to be kids. Now we're not. Something happened in between. This is the Broken Youth Club.
Oh, you love some goons. You love those goons.
Listen, in case we're rolling right now, I want everybody to know I still think about those crab rangoons that we had at that hotel that one night. What city were we in? Minneapolis?
Minneapolis. Yeah.
We were like snowed in or something, right?
Yeah, our flight from Minneapolis to Spokane got canceled.
Yeah.
After we got there, which is so annoying because we fucking knew it was going to.
You know what it was? They were good crab rangoon, like just off the top.
You had like an unreasonable amount of that, like Delta 8.
That's what it was. It was my first time. Like, I'm a huge pothead, not ashamed about it. But we were in Minneapolis. I didn't have anything on me. And so I was like, you know what? Something's better than that. And so we went into
the Mall of
America. And there was a store. They were selling, all kinds of Delta 8 products. So I got, it's like a 6-pack of drinks. Like root beer, cream soda, whatever.
Well, then I think they had some like some of the like nerd rope.
Yeah. About the like 3 or 4 of the nerd ropes.
I mean, truly an obscene amount.
Yeah. And I thought, well, it's Delta 8, so I'll just do all of it. And yeah, so we went to Rainforest Cafe, and that's what I drank for my lunch, is like cracked open a few of those drinks, and then just like for the next few hours, just consumed all of it. Yeah. And then hit our hotel room, and I don't know, just the perfect timing of when these goons showed up. I still look like that is, does anybody have like okay, listen, I love cheeseburgers, but I remember that one burger. Yeah. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That I don't think any goons are ever going to top those ones.
That's how I feel about that pizza that we used to get in Kendallville. And when I was pregnant with Oliver, I would house like an entire pizza all by myself, like a large one. Yeah. But it was thin crust, so like that just cracker crust, and it had the, oh my God, like the garlic on the crust. Oh my God. That shit was so good. You've always
been a real thin crust person.
Well, I grew up on thin crust. My parents didn't like the thicker stuff. They thought it was gross. So then I just got to a point where I thought it was gross. And to be fair, I do think that like the thicker crust, it just makes my stomach hurt.
Yeah. Oh, me too, girl. But that doesn't matter.
I'm like a crunchy kind of girl anyway. Like some people are sweets, some people are salty, crunchy. I'm like a salty, crunchy girl.
Growing up, I definitely was and even, till pretty recently, I would say I was the really thick, deep dish, give it all to me type of person. Yeah. But I do think as I'm getting kind of over it as I'm getting older.
Yeah. It's good to have it just like crunchy.
Yeah, I can get into a thin crust now.
I'm going to remember that next time I want to order pizza, because you guys always want the stuffed crust.
But I don't know do you notice when the kids order their Pizza Hut now or wherever they get it from? I'm usually only like 1 or 2 pieces. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just not into it.
I know, but when I order pizza from the fancier place, you don't eat any of it. So
listen, I have a problem with foods at certain times of day.
I know.
Whatever.
I know. It's rude. But yeah. Anyway, I feel like every single time I eat spaghetti like that, it makes me think of that. It makes me wish that Sarah was here so we could just be eating obscene amounts of spaghetti together. I almost thought about doing, Ollie kind of wants to make a trip back to Indiana for their birthday this year. And I thought maybe just to be safe, because we would typically fly through Minneapolis, and in late January, it's
go get some Delta 8.
It's kind of precarious. I almost thought maybe we ought to, like, either on the way there or on the way back, just like plan to stop and stay in Minneapolis for like a couple days. We could stay at the same hotel right across from the mall. Yeah. Ollie really liked that.
Just try to duplicate the Daddy's got to make a stop. Hold on.
Lots of Delta 8, lots of goons. Yeah.
And a funny thing though, I haven't even bought any since. Like I could buy some. I'm around here, but I haven't even. It hasn't even crossed my mind. Maybe I should.
Yeah.
So
maybe.
Until now, maybe I should.
How are you feeling now that we're a few days out from your ketamine appointment?
Pretty good. I mean, tomorrow is a work day, and normally I feel like the transition from weekend to work week is tough for me, especially when, the seasons change and we just had a time change, all of that. But as of right now, I'm fine. Much better, I think, than I was the previous couple weeks. I could definitely start to feel it. And I'm, I don't know, probably about the past month, I would say. I've definitely felt it coming on.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that I was able to squeeze that in. And I had a much more pleasant trip experience this time. Because, it's been since March was the last time I had gone.
Which is weird. I didn't realize it had been that long. I thought it was maybe either, man.
Yeah.
I thought it was maybe like right before my sister's wedding, which was in May.
Yeah. No, it makes sense because I do remember saying something, they'll talk to you before, your actual session for a few minutes. And I remember saying something about buying the house. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it makes sense. But
what you got in that bottle tonight?
Why? Is it loud?
No.
Oh.
What's in there?
Water.
Okay.
You think I put eggnog in there?
I did think you put eggnog in there. Like, no. You're so bad about putting like not water in there and then forgetting it down here.
No, it's water.
Disgusting.
Yeah. It's flavored water.
Yeah. Please only put the eggnog in like open cups. Okay. Let's not put it in water bottles. Shit.
But yeah, I feel good. I'm happy I went when I did. It's just another reminder. I'm always bad about my health and like staying on top of it. But I don't know, maybe next time I'll go like 4 months or 5 months instead of quite this long.
Yeah.
So I think, my about 3 times a year, I think is a good, every 4 months, I think is what I want to kind of get back to.
Yeah.
But again, the much better trip experience as far as it didn't necessarily turn dark at all. I talked about how it did on this before. What I did to kind of offset that is this time I prepared a concert to watch on the laptop. I have a weighted blanket and a couple other blankets that kind of prop my arms up. So I'm super comfortable in this reclined, it's a recliner. And so I prepared it was a Toto concert because I actually started the boot camp journey, whatever. It was like the 6 sessions together. Mm-hmm. I started like the first 3 or 4 of those just listening to Toto. And then I had moved on. I was like, okay, now I'm going to do, a more airy cinematic type of experience. And then I think the next one was more kind of just lo-fi chill experience. I was experimenting with the avenues I wanted to go down.
Yeah.
And then this was the first time I went back, because last time it was that was, I think my mistake is it got too emotionally cinematic, the music that I chose. And so again, for me, the experience is you kind of become a part of whatever you're listening to. It was like I could really visualize and feel the sound waves and all that stuff. So if I'm listening to really emotional music and I was emotionally charged going into it, I don't know, my soul latched onto that. So again, to offset, I have now visual stimulation. So I'm sucked into a concert versus in a dark room where my eyes are, searching for something to conjure up, I would guess. Mm-hmm. And then on top of that, I have, it's upstairs, but I have like these little, they're called Aperture MC lights. Excuse me. And they're pocket lights, basically.
We have some of them in the studio, right?
Yeah, you can't see them. They're off screen, but it's my hair light, your hair light too. Very versatile, but they have like settings where you can do like fire or broken TV or cop car, fireworks, all kinds of different, effects settings and whatnot.
Why would anybody want a cop car? Oh my God. Can you
we
imagine?
could just erase that setting from the
I don't ever feel shittier than when I see a cop car behind me. Oh my God.
But there's one called Party, and it essentially just cycles through all the 360-degree hue of color. And so then I'll put that on the other side of the laptop facing the wall. So then the wall is just slowly changing color the whole time. And yeah, I think that was a success for me because I was able to like truly get into the atmosphere of what I was listening to. And then, yeah, usually around 35, 40 minutes, none of it makes any sense. But it's like, it's still pleasant, hard to describe. And then, yeah, then after I fell asleep, they've been doing this recently where they'll let me kind of come down off of it, but then they'll just like leave me in a dark room coming down off of it for a while.
Yeah.
And I think the last 3 times I literally will just and they'll have to cut, hey, it's time to go.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, then I'm real, just kind of doughy, dough-legged. Is that what they call it? Just real wobbly, woozy.
Yeah.
Normally I can make it to the elevator and out the door into the car pretty fine. But this time it just felt like, it's been a few months longer. And so it's maybe a little more effect, or I don't know what it was. But
yeah, you were wonky for a bit.
Yeah, because we went immediately to Target.
Mm-hmm. And you didn't eat anything.
And I didn't eat much, yeah.
You didn't eat anything.
Yeah.
Zero things.
I had water.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, no, that evening, within a few hours after I ate and fully came down, I feel great. I'm excited to see how getting through my first like work week is, and all the things that come with that, commute, actually working, being away from family, yada yada.
Yeah.
So all in all, pretty good.
That's good.
Yeah.
I'm feeling pretty good. I over like a week, I like weaned off of the Wellbutrin, which I think probably technically I wasn't supposed to do. But I did. And they're supposed to be sending me something else to try instead. But I'm kind of in this like place, and my sister was like, hey, Kate, please just start taking it when they send it. Like, just keep going. But for me right now, I'm like, well, but I feel okay. Mm-hmm. So I don't like really want to try a new medicine because I'm just like nervous. But I actually, surprisingly enough, so I got some blood work done on Friday because I'm trying to do big girl things. Mm-hmm. And by the time this episode comes out, I should have the results from that blood work. And I'm hoping that maybe there's also just some like chemical things that I just need to like get evened out, Yeah. I don't know. So we'll see.
Well, I'm glad you're feeling better this week.
Yeah.
Because I know last week was a struggle.
Also, hey, listen, I am like a month back on the like flow supplements or whatever. And my period came a little early this time, which I thought was rude, but I don't feel like I had any like big, crazy, big emotions.
Well, I feel like
just the normal, like irritable.
You just told me last night that you felt like you were coming, like you're on the tail end of that.
Yeah, I'm done now.
So I didn't want to say anything until you were, just in case. But yes, I guess it's a great time to ask. Like, how do you think the period affected this time?
I felt like really fine.
Yeah.
Like, aside from just the normal annoyances of being on your period.
Yeah.
There were like moments of not having a lot of patience, but like not at all like what last month was. Last month I was like fucking really sad the whole time.
Yeah.
And I didn't feel that at all. So I don't know if my hormones are just bouncing out or if the fucking the period supplements just help a lot.
Yeah.
Which is what I took like all last year. And then when I ran out, I just like didn't reorder. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I'm feeling pretty good right now. So
wonderful.
Fingers crossed.
Well, I think this is a good time to transition into the table talk this week.
Yes.
And speaking of feeling pretty good, you know how good I felt this week when I woke up to our TikTok on fire? Dog.
What are the freaking odds?
That was so fun. I've never had. So listen, I work for I'm sure a lot of you know, I work for a company called Bad Magic, a comedian named Dan Cummins. And a lot of those videos have gone pretty viral. I have several edits that are, 3, 4, 5 million views.
Yeah.
And so seeing that on my phone at work is like a normal thing.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen it on something that is exclusively to me.
Yeah.
Something that has nothing to do with work and is just my thing.
Yeah.
And so that I think is my first real true. I mean, we had our Barbie video went kind of viral.
Yeah.
And then some of the Arlo videos that I put up.
The drum videos. Yeah. Some of those had
I had one Facebook
hits.
video of Arlo drumming at he's 2 years old. And I think, he got 50 or 60,000 views or something like that. I'll have to go back and see where it's at now. That'd be fun. But
yeah.
But yeah, this one crossed. I think we're sitting at 130 or 140 or something like that, which is interesting. But
and Pappy himself,
and Pappy, not on TikTok but on Facebook, which is interesting because the video he tagged us and shared us in had basically no views. So I wonder if he found out on TikTok and then
he's probably just more comfortable on Facebook.
Probably, but it's
like an older person platform.
Yeah. So I'm speaking of we had a Pappyland video that I put together because we referenced it previously and put it on TikTok and so it got us thinking about what are some other kind of deep cut shows from your childhood that's oh yeah, I completely forgot about that show, or just I guess one if it's not like that, just some that are integral to your childhood.
Yeah.
I would go over to grandma's every Sunday and watch,
Mm-hmm.
So we actually put up a post in the Broken Youth Club on Facebook and we have over 100 responses. So I have it pulled up here. Do you have yours any available? If not, that's fine. I can go through it. But we have over 100 responses there. So I figured it'd be fun to just kind of go through them.
Yeah.
Without having looked at them.
Before we start, is there anything that pops up for you outside of Pappyland?
Yeah, I think I've mentioned it before, but I was talking to Tyler a little bit more this week about McGee and Me.
Oh.
And I won't get into it because I personally don't know a whole lot about it, but it was produced by this production company. It was a Christian production company that put out, buy it home VHS tapes that you can, show your kids in your private setting. That's not a Netflix or a Blockbuster or whatever. And I grew up thinking this is a totally normal show that other people would know about. And to this day, other than Tyler, nobody knows what the fuck I'm talking about when I mention, oh yeah, McGee and Me.
That's funny.
It's because it was a very, I would say not secluded, but it was a Christian publishing thing that we picked up through church. It was, and so my stepmom would physically put it in and that's how we'd watch it. But I would equate it to, oh yeah, there's McGee and Me, Bob Ross, Arthur, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I didn't have this distinction that, oh no, I was watching something that was very niche.
Yeah. And
it was, it's this kid. This kid draws this character with he has a yellow pompadour. He's kind of a cool old school 50s looking character. And his name was McGee and he would come to life and he would teach him biblical lessons. And I remember there was this one about a game show and he lost. He thought he was going to be good, but he wasn't. And there was this one about this creepy old mansion that he goes out front with his friend. He's you shouldn't go in there. And they'd break into the basement or something. And
mm-hmm.
I don't know, man, I need to go back and look at those. I'm sure they're on YouTube or something somewhere.
Yeah.
But had you ever, before I had mentioned it to you, had you ever heard of it at all?
Dude, I feel maybe we literally watched some McGee and Me in elementary school.
Yeah.
But that's what I attributed it to.
Yeah.
Similar to that, what was that show that had the Jack Russell Terrier?
Wishbone.
Similar to Wishbone. I feel like I would only watch Wishbone at school.
Mm.
On the days when teachers clearly just wanted the fucking day. They had enough of
I feel
us.
like Wishbone for me was definitely a after school babysitter show. I never really watched it at home, I don't think. But I definitely remember watching it a lot at our babysitters.
I remember watching it like because they would do the ones where Wishbone was like a character from like a story or whatever. Or maybe that's what all of them were. I don't know. But like, I can remember like specifically Wishbone being in like a Robin Hood character like costume.
Yeah.
And so I felt like it was like a show that teachers would put on for like the reading
based,
lesson. Yeah. So yeah. I don't know. I don't know if I've talked about Arthur on this show or if we've done it on an episode that we didn't air.
You know what? If we have, go for it.
Listen, I was like a real Arthur writer for a while. Like I would hustle home because it would start at like 3:30.
Yeah.
But school got out at 3:20. So I'm a full-fledged high schooler in my car flying home to try to catch the last, they would do like one episode from 3:30 to 3:45 and then 3:45 to 4. Yeah. And I was trying so hard to make as much as I could. But I also remember times when like school would get out early or I would be sick and I would stay home and Zoom was on from like 3 to 3:30 and then Arthur from 3:30 to 4. Did you ever watch Zoom?
I thought Zoom was like a program, like almost like Guts. Like, well,
no, it kind of was. It was like PBS's version of like a little kid's like challengey type show,
okay.
like little competitions or whatever. But I feel like they were silly competitions, like borderline sack races. You know what I'm saying? But like, of course, I would have loved that show. And then I grew up, and now I'm like, I have been watching The Challenge since that shit started, and I had the cable to watch it. I love Survivor. I love any of those like competition type shows where they're like very physical. And I feel like Zoom was like the kid version of that.
Oh, yeah.
But not as well funded as like, the other one.
There was Guts.
Legends of the Hidden Temple.
Yeah. We are so coffee today.
I know. I'm so actually disgusted. I keep talking and I'm like, just go away. And it's just like building.
There's all those scallops, I think. And the buttery noodles, maybe. I don't know. Maybe.
Dude, I'm trying to like get back into freaking cooking. So I made scallops for the first time in probably a full fucking year.
They're pretty good.
Thank you.
Pretty good.
Thank you. I got really good at cooking fish last year. But anyway, gross. Yeah, just ignore that, please. But yeah, so those were the shows that I would like run home and try really hard to catch.
Yeah.
Because then as soon as 4:00 hit, then it was like Maury and Jerry Springer and then like Seinfeld. You know, it was like all of the shows I probably realistically as a 16-year-old should have been excited to watch instead. Yeah. But no, I wanted Arthur. I wanted Zoom.
Yeah.
So
I feel like there for a long time, it's not a deep cut, but for me, Doug was like a show that I had with my sister where we would actually print out like the, coloring book line art and we would sit together and color and watch. And we had she'll remember this. We had a table, like an end table. Or it's like a permanent TV tray table looking thing. I don't even know what it was fucking for, if I'm being honest. But it was like unfinished wood. So it was like the perfect surface to like Sharpie on and then color. And our parents let us do that. So Stormy like took one side and I took the other, and we would just like color on this table and then watch Doug and Skeeter and Patty Mayonnaise.
That's very cute.
Yeah, we had a season of that. And then, like Angry Beavers and other Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon stuff sprinkled in or whatnot. But let's get to our list, because I want to find some of these deep cuts. And I actually, to get us into the list, I told you one that I hadn't heard of until I'd started dating you in high school was Gem and the Holograms.
Yeah, babe.
That is...
Gem is my name. No one else is the same. Gem is my name. Yeah, dude. Oh my God. Gem goes gold, glitter and gold. Listen. Oh my God, dude. I'm literally crying. My sister used to love Gem and the Holograms. And so my mom would have to like record it on VHS because this was, the 90s. We didn't have fucking DVR. And so we would get home and we would watch these VHS tapes. But I was born in 89. So I'm watching these shows in like the mid 90s and the show isn't actually on anymore, I don't think. I'm watching all of these old ass things.
Yeah, you're watching reruns.
But I loved it. And my mom would like, I think it also worked out where like Gem and the Holograms was on, and then it was like Days of Our Lives was sometime very close after. So sometimes it would just kind of move right into that. But it would be like Gem and the Holograms and then Smurfs, but like 80s Smurfs.
Yeah.
And so we would watch these VHS tapes together all the time. I about guarantee you my mother, the hoarder, has those VHS tapes somewhere.
We should find them. Yeah.
Well, she's listening to this.
Okay.
For sure.
Teresa,
so, hey, Teresa.
Pull them out.
Let's get them. Come on. But I think the thing I loved almost as much as Gem and the Holograms was all of the 80s commercials that would go on between. And like, I think that this is what actually ruined Santa Claus for me, was because I would watch these really, really great commercials. And there was this product called Hit Sticks. And they looked like drumsticks.
Oh, yeah.
And you would like play them and they had like tiny little speakers on them. And so it would like make this drumming sound, right? And they, yeah. I found a commercial of it the other day and sent it to you. So I'm like, I knew what these fucking were. And you acted like you hadn't heard of them the first time I brought them up. And as a drummer, I'm like, how could you not know what this is? But I asked for those for Christmas for like 4 years straight. But like, bless my poor parents, they didn't make them anymore. You know, they were like some shitty product that probably didn't work very well. So by the time it's the 90s, they're not even making them anymore.
Yeah.
And so then I finally was like, well, Santa could do this.
Yeah.
You know, if Santa was real, he could get me these fucking Hit Sticks.
Yeah.
But dude, it was that. And then like, there was this really, really, really great McDonald's commercial that I think is just going to be like forever burned in my memory, this song. But it was like all of the, you know, Grimace and Birdie and like all of the characters, and then all of these little kids, and they were doing this good times, great taste. That's why this is our place. The good times, great taste. And then all the kids would hold up these signs. It was like, McDonalds, McDonalds. Oh my God, bro. Like this song, if I could get this like as a ringtone for my phone, it's so good. And like, it makes me really bummed now because I feel like the commercials used to just have like such solid jingles.
I know. Yeah. So I'm on
and
one
now
here.
Like, dude, I haven't actually seen that commercial in easily 20 years.
Still stuck.
25 years probably. Still there.
Yeah.
Dude, I could do the whole thing right now. Like, it's so good.
I love a good old school commercial jingle.
Yeah, there were so many good ones. I saw some people commented some of the commercials.
588-2300 Empire.
Yeah. Yeah, or like
FREE, that spells free credit report.
Dude, those, what was that one with the
Education
college
Connection?
Oh my God.
That's what I was mixing up there.
Oh my God.
Freecreditreport.com. That's it.
Oh my gosh. The Education Connection commercials went so fucking hard. And they had that same girl doing like 4 or 5 different versions of it. It was so funny.
My own time.
Getting my degree on my own
there
time.
It is, yeah.
You know, she thought she was the shit. And to be fair, she was.
Yeah.
Like, dude, that shit. I feel like I'm screaming. I got so excited. Like my head hurts. I'm like, oh my God, that was such a good. But man, the commercials were so good there for a while. And I don't know if it's like, I think they just stopped putting effort in because they realized everybody was switching over to the streaming services and nobody wanted commercials. But if you would make them like that again.
Yeah. Do you think we'll be set up for like, I know we've been in somewhat of a 90s nostalgic culture zone for a little bit. Do you think we're going to exit that, or do you think we'll go in deeper?
I think we're going to get
the next couple years.
I think we're going to get a little deeper in there because it feels like commercials have now kind of like, they're finding ways to slide into like everything, whether it's podcasts or fucking TikTok or whatever. It's like, oh, if y'all don't want to put us on the streaming services, we're going to find somewhere else to go. But I think that also like people our age, like the millennials, are kind of getting into those positions where they get to make decisions on that stuff now.
Yeah.
And so I think that we'll see kind of more of a resurgence of like, what are the commercials that we haven't heard in 20 years, but we know? Like,
I just thought of what was the Quiznos sub commercials? Do you remember how like just off the hook those were? Do you remember those?
I don't know if I remember those.
Oh man, I'll have to look them up. I'm trying to remember what they said. Oh, I have great service down here. Damn it.
But what was the one where it was like, who you calling a cootie queen, you lint liquor? Was that Orbit
Orbit gum, I think. Yeah.
Dude, like there were just so many like really funny ideas. And that's why I think people used to get really excited about like the Super Bowl and all of the really great commercials.
You don't remember those?
I fucking do remember those, actually. Yeah, I sure do.
They say they have like weird voices. I won't even attempt to do the voice.
Please don't.
Yeah.
I hate
Quiznos sponge monkeys? Something like that is what they're called. It's just I'm like horrifying Quiznos commercial, creepy Quiznos commercial. But yeah, you say it's like 2 decades ago. Like, it's crazy that it's been that long.
Yeah, and I feel like we used to really look forward to the Super Bowl and the commercials that would come with it. And it feels like for the last decade or so, there's a couple of companies that are still doing good jobs, but for the most part, it's like people have been kind of bummed about the Super Bowl commercials, and it's because we don't have the good creatives and they're making the decisions right now. Yeah. And they're fucking it up.
What was this? There was another movie that I remember. I just came across my brain. Rigoletto or something like Rigoletta. I feel like it's like this girl who comes across this castle, and it's like this creepy old scary man with a cane. I don't know if anybody knows what I'm talking about. Please help me out. I'll have to look that up.
I saw somebody put up Rockadoodle.
Yeah, I just passed that.
I used to love that fucking movie. I thought it was like also low-key a little scary. Like they really did that. But the idea of a rooster that is so modeled after like Elvis fucking Presley.
Yeah.
And then the songs were great. The songs were really good. Like Rockadoo, stay away, you big old scary rain cloud. Like, dude, they're so good. I just don't feel outside of like Disney movies, people just aren't putting the songs in anymore. And that's the shit that sticks for me.
You remember Gullah Gullah Island? Did
do.
You ever watch that?
I'm like just at the babysitter's house.
Yeah.
Because at that point we didn't.
Together. Together. Gullah Gullah Island. Gullah Gullah Island. Dude. Oh, that feels so good on my brain to hear that.
No, I love that. Did you ever watch Once Upon a Forest?
Is that no, I don't think so.
It's a movie. And it's about these like little woodland creatures.
Maybe.
And like their little like forest area gets like poisoned, and these kids have these little like kids, but they're like little critters.
Yeah.
Have to go like get medicine from this other part of the forest or the world or something.
No, that's
and then they have to hurry back so that they can like save one of their sisters or something. But my grandma, she had it on, well, she still has it on VHS, and I used to go to her house, and it was one of like 3 VHS tapes that she had.
Yeah.
So I would watch that one over and over and over again. But I don't feel like I remember a lot of people like talking about it. It was one of those movies where I was like, oh my God, I watch this all the time. And they're like, I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
But I loved that one. I thought it was so good. Did you see they're doing maybe I'm about to embarrass myself. I swear I saw that maybe they were going to do a live action of Ferngully.
Oh, really?
Feels like it's in the same realm. That's why I'm bringing it up. But
that's what I was thinking when I said maybe.
Yeah.
No, I was thinking of Ferngully for sure.
Oh, someone else did say Gem. Yeah, you already.
Really?
Yes.
Nice. I love that.
Yes, and the Dark Crystal.
Mm-hmm. Do you remember? This is for I don't think maybe you. This is for my Disney babies out here. Famous Jet Jackson. You remember Famous Jet Jackson? Oh, really? No.
It sounds familiar. Oh my gosh, somebody said Wishbone too, and they have the fucking family portrait. So cute.
Adventures in Wonderland. Do you remember that?
No.
That's one of those. Okay, that came across. I have a picture here in my phone. Do you remember this like caterpillar guy?
No. Literally not at all.
It is so creepy. There's like the one dude on the bunny on the unicycle. There's like the big black lady singing, Yeah.
No.
I watched the intro to that. It came across like my feed, and it's one of those, haven't seen it in 20 years plus, but you remember every frame of like the intro, and you're like, it's just tickling that nostalgic area of your brain.
Oh, that's funny. No.
I'll have to pull it up and show you.
No, this person, somebody said A Little Princess. Do you remember that movie?
Maybe if I saw a picture.
That's another one there where it's like, I don't understand why I watched that movie so many times, because it wasn't the kind of movie I typically would have been into.
Yeah.
But it actually, like, I bet I've watched that movie 100 times.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it's the movie I'm thinking about, let me just like not look like an idiot first.
Okay.
Yes. It's about like her dad, and he like goes off to war, and she gets like, and then they think that he died, and so she gets sent to this like girls' home, and they're like not very nice to her.
Yeah.
And then her dad in fact didn't die, and he had like I think maybe he had some like traumatic brain injury or something, so he like had a lot of amnesia. That was the word I couldn't think of. But the people that lived across from the little girl's home like took him in, and so she like saw him and like knew it was her dad, but he didn't know who she was.
Yeah.
It's actually a very powerful movie.
Interesting.
But yeah, it was super cute because it was like, I don't know, it felt like it was a movie that really talked about like the power of like your like relationships with your like sisters, you know, because she has like a really great relationship with her roommate at this like girls' home or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, she was in such a dark place, but she had this person she could like lean on. I don't know. I think it was really, we should watch it if you haven't seen it.
For sure.
It's actually very cute.
This is a good one for me, is a movie, Three Ninjas.
No, that's another one. I swear you've asked me multiple times to watch it with you, and I just never did.
It is so like, I remember specifically, I was in my brother's room. I was, I don't know, maybe 7, 6, somewhere around there. And we had the carpet was like putting green. You know what I mean? Like it was just green. And I remember being on that floor basically the whole night. And it was my first time pulling an all-nighter with my brother and like being successful in that.
Yeah.
And seeing the sun come up. But we played like, it was the Sonic game that you got at McDonald's for like the Nintendo. Remember when McDonald's would give games? Oh yeah, or like you could buy them or whatever.
I can't even actually start talking to you about how fucking disappointed I am in McDonald's toys now, because they used to be so good.
I know.
They used to be so freaking good.
Yep.
And now they're just like, a lot of times it feels like I'm just getting actually like the leftovers from whatever.
Like previous season.
Yeah. Like they just never actually have all of the toys that they're supposed to have.
But yeah, I remember playing Sega. That's what it was. It was as a Sonic Sega game. And then we watched Three Ninjas like 4 times maybe. We just kept watching it over and over and over. And I have the cover of it somewhere, the actual VHS. It's great. You see like one of them's kicking and you see like the 3 ninjas on the bottom of his foot. Oh, so iconic.
I don't think I watched any of those like karate movies. Like I never watched like Karate Kid or any of those either. Or like, you know, I know that like.
You didn't watch the 3 Ninjas with Hulk Hogan? High Noon? At Magic Mountain or something like that?
I actually don't even know that I ever watched like a Bruce Lee movie. And I don't know if Bruce Lee is in that, but I feel like Bruce Lee was kind of like the karate dude for a long time. Yeah. And I don't feel like I've
like
ever actually
Van
seen
Damme movies. Did your dad like get into any of that kind of stuff? Or like Steven Seagal? Like any of that? Okay, so listen.
I don't think so.
My stepdad was super into those, I don't even know what you'd go. Yeah, like action, like cop thriller, the kick-ass type of movies, where it's the one dude and he somehow can take on like 1,000 people throughout the movie. Those kind of films. Again, Jean-Claude Van Damme, Steven Seagal, whoever else.
Yeah. I don't know.
Patrick Swayze.
It feels like it tracks for me that Darren would want to watch like very like manly man movies.
Gosh. Sorry to interrupt you. Yes, it sure does track. Sure. But there was a Patrick Swayze movie called Fatherhood. Oh my gosh, this is a brain tickler for me. Have you ever heard of this movie?
No.
Oh, so I'm going to get the premise, I'm sure, a little wrong, but it has to do with his kids. And he's like a fugitive of some kind. And so he kidnaps his kids. And so he's like running from the police this whole movie with his two, like a daughter and a boy. And it's like, can this dad like love his kid? You know what I mean? Like, I'm terrible. No, like, I think I'm like going to nail this description. I'm like, so he's like got a car, you know, and like children.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah. It's just a series of him evading the police with his kids.
Nice.
Yeah.
What's the Christmas movie? It's not a deep cut because it's like on Netflix now at Christmas time. But what's the Christmas movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger where he's trying to get
Jingle All the Way?
There it is.
Yes.
Where he's trying to get the action figure.
What is the action figure? Something Man.
I don't remember.
You don't remember?
No. Oh, Turbo Man?
Turbo Man. Yes. I need this Turbo Man for my kid. I can't do fucking.
Do you? Yeah. Do you ever just get really proud of your brain when it comes up with that?
Yeah.
Are you going to look it up? Is that actually what it is?
Oh, I can.
Double check me.
Yeah.
Fact check. While you're doing that, well, no, wait, before I move on. I did love that movie so much. And in hand with that one was Kindergarten Cop. I feel like I just switched back and forth with those two movies for like months.
Yeah.
Like those were the only two movies I watched.
It is. It's Turbo Man.
Hey, look at me go. Man, I'm proud of me. I saw someone put the Pebble and the Penguin. When I tell you, I loved that movie so much. I thought that was so sweet. And again, great songs.
Okay.
Great songs. And maybe if the pebble is perfect, she'll tell me right then. Listen.
Okay.
It's so good. We should be making this list for our kids.
Yeah.
Because they need to see these things too.
Once Upon a Forest.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Was that the title?
That's what I said earlier.
Okay, because I was looking at.
Did somebody else say that too?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're damn right.
Yeah.
That movie was so good, but also like actually really fucking sad.
Yeah. What's this?
There are some of these, A Troll in Central Park, that looks so familiar and sounds so familiar, but I cannot actually remember anything about that movie. Did you ever watch that one?
No. I'm looking at we're getting into, there's back to the commercials, the board game Crossfire, sorry.
I don't know that one.
I'd have to play it because it sounds like there's multiple people have mentioned it.
Somebody said Animaniacs. Did you ever?
Yeah.
Oh, I had
sure.
like a very long love for Animaniacs. Yeah. And then like they also had a Nintendo game that was so fucking good that we also have for our Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we need to buy a new Super Nintendo. I think ours is literally just like, I think it's just done. It's bit the dust. But we have so many good games that we just need to replace it.
Yeah.
But dude, I loved that. And I actually went to a thrift store with Ollie last weekend. And they had like a little bag of, I think they were McDonald's toys of Animaniacs. They were so cute. If anybody remembers, it's like they are on like tricycles. And so one of them is like riding it upside down. And it's like if you scoot across the table, it's like their arms pedal the bike and they're like upside down. Yeah. It was such a goofy show.
Yeah.
And again, like I'd have to watch it again because I don't feel like I really remember like, you know, I think when I think about like Ren and Stimpy, I'm like, okay, well that show was always about Ren wanting to like take over the world, right? Like, and Stimpy was just like his silly little friend. But I remember, I don't know if it was a movie or if it was just like an extended episode of that where it was like, we had it on VHS. Maybe it was just a compilation of a handful of episodes.
Okay.
But there was one where they were like in space and Ren's like taking a bath, but then like Stimpy turns off the gravity. And so then like the bath water starts floating up.
Yeah.
And Ren is like floating around. It's like such a goofy ass show.
Yeah.
But I loved that in that show too, they also had like fake commercials where like not the characters would do it, but they like had other characters that would do the commercials.
It was very elevated writing.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah.
Makes me wonder if like the guys that created South Park were like fans of that.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. Or like the people who make like SpongeBob.
Yeah.
So like Tom Kenny and those guys. Like, I'm sure they come from that school of just like crude humor and how much like adult humor can we cram in here that will get by kids.
Yeah.
Because I remember actually we had a Ren and Stimpy magnet on our fridge at my dad's house. And I remember Marilyn like taking that down and it being a thing when she found out that Ren and Stimpy wasn't like this like fun, clean, cartoon.
Yeah. We also have the Super Nintendo game for that, and it also is very fun. It's a good game.
And Stimpy.
Yeah. Somebody also put Homeward Bound on there, and I don't know what happened to the writers on those movies that they had to make those so fucking sad.
Yeah.
But like, I don't even fully remember everything that happens, but I almost know that I don't want to watch them again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
don't worry about it.
But it feels like the kids should watch it because some of these movies, it feels important to teach fucking empathy.
Yeah.
And you won't find me sadder than during the times in that movie where you think one of those fucking animals is not going to make it home. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, so good, but just they go too hard.
How many times do you think you've watched The Page Master?
Criminal. Like, it was like the movie that I would rent whenever I was sick.
Yeah.
Like, or anytime we went to the library. Like, we didn't go to the library to rent movies very often, but my mom has been like an avid library person forever. It's like a weekly thing. She goes and gets new books. And
I love that movie.
I always would rent that one. Like,
I love the transition from like the real world into the magical world.
Yeah, and I typically don't like that.
Yeah.
But man, I really
And Christopher Lloyd's character.
I loved that freaking movie.
Great film.
But also, and it's Macaulay Culkin in that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. The same time that I was watching that movie a lot, I also was watching My Girl a lot. And that's not a deep cut. Lots of people have seen My Girl. But when I tell you the first time I rewatched that as a fucking adult, that is such a jarring.
He can't see without his glasses. Yeah.
Who wrote that? Who did that?
So sad.
It was so good and so sad. And those fucking actors did such a good job. Oh my gosh.
Someone else put Fantasia. Do you remember? Did you ever like sit down and actually watch Fantasia?
I remember the first time I tried to sit down and watch Fantasia, and I was like, when does it start?
When's the movie part?
It felt like a very, very long opening.
Yeah. I also remember putting that on for the first time, not knowing kind of what I was watching, but I still watched that whole fucking thing, and I would rewatch it. I would just put it on just to have it on.
That feels on brand for you.
Yeah, I love that broom scene where they were just all synchronized together. There was something about it where, I don't know, I actually liked it.
Yeah.
I was into it.
It reminds me of Sleeping Beauty. The scene in Sleeping Beauty where she's making the birthday cake.
Yeah.
Oh, I love just that scene. There's a lot of the rest of that movie I could leave behind. It was a little slow, a little boring for me.
Yeah.
That one, when she's folding in the eggs. Oh my God.
Yeah. Animated like food. No, listen, I'm not huge into anime either, but I do have respect that like I feel like anime sets the bar for showing how delicious food can be in a, drawn form.
Mm-hmm. I think there's something too about like movies that will work through like the process. So like, with the cake and the making of the birthday cake and all of that, and we can all recognize what's going on. But even like, I feel like one of the main scenes that stick out in any of the Toy Story films is the one in the second movie where Woody's like getting a cleanup, and he's like getting all polished up and he paints over his fucking boot to cover.
Do you know what those are called? Those are called process videos. Ooh, I love process
Those are
videos.
delicious.
Or like watching someone paint a painting, like from start to finish, or sculpt something.
Yes, but there's something about it happening when it's animated.
Specifically animated. Gotcha.
Yes. Yeah. Like also in Cinderella when they're like making her dress, when like the birds are like...
Yeah. I got it. God. I gotcha.
Ugh. I think if somebody could cut together all of the scenes from Disney movies where like that's all it is, it's like these quick cuts of just the process scenes or whatever.
Yeah.
Yum.
I love it. You know what I love from like a trend in Pixar films and DreamWorks films? I've noticed this. It's like every freaking film. There's always some sort of shot, usually within like the first 20 or 30 minutes of the film, where there's this, I mean, immensely grand cinematic landscape of either a city of some kind. So it's like you see it in Secret Life of Pets, like the New York city skyline.
Oh, there's so many yummies of those in Elemental.
You see it in Elemental. You see it in Coco when they go.
Zootopia.
You see it in all of them, man. I love that trend. And to me, that is like, when I die, I hope that, to me, that is something that I can conjure up in my brain, is some sort of like magical, gigantic city like that.
Yeah.
So cozy somehow.
Yeah. Another movie that also does that somebody put in that I loved, We're Back. The dinosaur.
Oh, yeah.
That parade scene.
We're back.
And again, let me say it over and over again. Great soundtrack.
Yeah.
Great songs. Roll back the rock to the dawn of time and sing this song with me. Dude, are you... Roll back the rock. Oh my God. I'm crying. Dude, it's so good. I love that movie so much. And I remember asking you about that one and you were like, I don't know, maybe.
Yeah. And then I went through confused with like Land Before Time.
Oh my gosh. Listen, Land Before Time is so sad also. Yeah. I cannot.
What was the other show that you collected on DVD there for a little bit that had dinosaurs in it? It was called Dinosaurs?
Dinosaurs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, not the mama. That one.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I think I collected them and then I never actually watched them again because the first time I tried, I was like, oh no, this is actually not very
terrible.
Good. Yeah. Yeah, I remember my cousins used to really love Brave Little Toaster.
Mm-hmm.
And I only ever watched it when I was like babysitting them, but they were like real big into that. And then I don't know why these movies just keep like hitting other things for me. But the Iron Giant, I would get an Iron Giant tattoo on my body.
Yeah.
I had the poster, I had the VHS tape that came with the little Iron Giant figure.
Yeah.
That I know for.
You still have it?
It was the last time I saw that VHS at my parents' house. Yeah. That guy was still in there.
That's awesome.
I used to get him out and I'd put him on the shelf, but I always put him back because I knew that was his home.
Putting something on the shelf, get him back. Indian in the cupboard.
Oh, that also was a good one.
It was a great, like, that was something tactile when he would go, the sound it would make when he would put it on the little wood and then close the door and then open it. We should rewatch that with all
Very similar to me to Honey, I Shrunk the Kids when they're in the backyard. And I'm like, this is so great.
Yeah.
And then I remember when we went to Universal in Orlando and they had like the part of the park that was Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Right.
Oh.
So fun.
Oh, I loved that.
I don't think I'd experienced that part.
You were there.
Was I?
Yeah.
I thought you meant as a kid.
No.
What was in it?
It was like a playground almost, and so it had like the big blades of grass and like slides. Like Ollie played on it. It was whenever we took Oliver when Ollie was like
I can't
itty bitty.
Remember that.
We got to go back just so you can see it.
Yeah. Well, it's been almost a decade.
Hurry.
Yeah. What else you got?
Another person said Darkwing Duck, which I absolutely like. I know I watched that. I know I watched DuckTales. It's been so long since I've watched those.
Yeah.
Which actually kind of bums me out because I know whenever I did watch them, I did like them. So some of these we genuinely do need to like bring back and have the kids watch.
I'm trying to think of like movies I watched with my grandmas. Those were like deep cuts because they were like Drop Dead Fred. Do you remember that?
I mean, I know that you've talked about that. I don't know that I've watched that.
I'm trying to think. Air Bud. I mean, that's not a deep cut. But I would watch Air Bud a lot at my grandma's house.
Yeah.
Air Bud and SpaghettiOs.
Oh.
I love that.
Oh my gosh, one of these just triggered something else for me now. I can't remember what it was.
That's okay.
Yeah, I watched Air Bud like a couple of times. Again, like maybe at the babysitter's house, but that wasn't. What was the one? Thinking of Air Bud makes me think of that. Like Mike with like, is that like Lil Bow Wow?
Yeah.
That was like the lead in that.
I want to be like Mike.
And he had like magic shoes, right? Like, was it the shoes?
It was the shoes.
So funny.
Yeah, and it had Jonathan, the little kid from Stuart Little in it too. The little kid from Stuart Little.
Oh, like the kid wasn't
with the glasses and the white or the blonde spiky hair.
I don't remember him in that movie, but I remember him in Jerry Maguire.
Oh, well, of course.
I used to love watching Jerry Maguire, which is so funny because I watched that as an adult too, and I'm like, again, this is just kind of slow.
Yeah.
You know, like I just want things to go a little faster sometimes. But I remember not liking Mr. Rogers whenever I was little because I thought it was boring. I thought, especially when they would do like the puppets and which is basically like the whole show. But now like, again, that's like, there are very few people that I would put on my body in tattoo form.
Yeah.
But Mr. Rogers is one of them. I've wanted a Mr. Rogers tattoo for a long time.
Is there a movie for you that you can definitively say, oh, I've watched this movie more times than any other movie?
I don't know why it came to mind because it isn't. I watched it a lot for a weekend. But I remember I rented Napoleon Dynamite before it got popular. Yeah. I had rented it and watched it. And it was one of those times where it was like, I had gone to Video World and there was like nothing else there.
Okay.
And so I was like, okay, fine, I'll fucking get this, I guess. And then I watched it and I was like, what the fuck is this? But then I watched it over and over and over again all weekend because that was
gotta get my money's worth.
That was the movie that I picked, you know? And then it was like a month or so later, and then it got really popular at school.
Yeah.
And I just thought like, I think that's one of the first times where I watched something and I hated it, but then everybody else really liked it and thought it was cool. So then I was like, okay, well, I guess I think it's cool too.
Yeah.
And now I can look back and I'm like, there are absolutely really funny parts of Napoleon Dynamite.
Yeah.
It's just like, it wasn't my humor back then.
Yeah.
But like, that was what came to mind first was that. And then there's this other movie. I cannot remember what the fuck it's called. Somebody help me. But I think it was set in like Brooklyn. And it's the part that I remember the most about it is I don't remember if it's like, it was one of the big like Italian actors. I don't know if it was like fucking Al Pacino or who. But he was talking about how you know that you've got like a good girl if you do like the door test. And it's like you open the door, you make sure that your door is locked, you unlock her door and open it, she sits down, and then when you walk around to the other side of the car, if she unlocks the door for you, she's a good girl, she's a keeper. If she doesn't and she makes you pull your key out to unlock your door yourself, then she's a selfish person and you should drop her. I cannot think of what that movie is called, but my parents own that movie on DVD, and it's one of the few movies that they owned on DVD. So of course, I watched it a lot as like a teenager, and I cannot remember what that movie is called.
I'll have to do some Googling after this. Yeah.
I swear it's set in like Brooklyn or something like that. But that movie I watched a lot because it was just what we had.
Well, I have two movies, but before you saying you rented something and then watched it on loop reminded me of another movie. So I'm going to talk about three movies. Here we go.
Oh my gosh.
I remember staying home sick, and same thing. Hey, you can get a movie from, not Blockbuster. What was it at the time? Like a movie gallery or something like that. And it was Joanna Man. Do you remember that movie?
I do remember.
Oh my gosh. And I watched it. It was like one of those like 5 for $5, like 5 nights for $5 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
I probably watched that thing like 10, 12 times.
Sometimes I think
it's so bad. It's not even good. It's just like there's something, and maybe I'm in a niche camp here, but for me, as I get older, I stop looking at ratings of movies as much and caring what other people actually say.
Because sometimes those Rotten Tomatoes scores, I'm like, dude, I disagree.
Sometimes I want to watch a movie that is kind of bad because it makes me still feel good. Like the way it's shot, the color palette, or whatever it is. Like I don't care if like there's plot holes or whatever.
Help me. What's the scary movie that I love that I used to watch with Sweet Mackenzie Holb, love you sister. And they were like horror movies. There's like a billion of them.
Last Turn or Wrong Turn?
Wrong Turn. There it is. Those movies are terrible.
Yeah, very terrible.
But there's something about, I could sit and watch all of those back to back to back to back.
I love it.
They are like so bad, but so gory and so just like, I really like those. Sorry, continue.
And then, my favorite line is, so from that movie, his agent basically takes advantage of him, basically trying to milk him for money and get him as much as he can. And at the end, there's this turn where he's like, oh, you were basically just using me. And he has the line of, oh, Lauren, you're not my friend. You're my agent.
Oh, I remember that. So you know what's funny though? I think about that movie and we should rewatch it so that I don't put my foot in my mouth here.
Yeah.
But I can't remember if that movie is actually really problematic or if it did have
like a little ahead of its time.
Its time on the idea of like,
yeah.
You know,
I don't know what, I can't remember exactly what, same thing. Yeah. I want to watch it again before I fully speak on it because it has been several years.
Yeah.
But I don't recall it being as like an offensive.
Well, I know, but to be fair, whenever you watched it, there were a lot of things that were offensive.
I know. And then you go back and you watch it and you're like, how the fuck did I like just gloss over this? Yeah. But no, my movie that I have probably watched more than any other movie is probably even more than Harry Potter. Like Harry Potter 1 and Harry Potter 2, I fucking burnt the tape on those VHSs.
Yeah.
But then when I got into middle school, I think I really started, if I'm being truly honest.
Can I guess what you're going to say before you say it?
Yes, but hold on. I truly believe I was starting to really grapple with like what depression is and like loneliness and all that. And so I developed this habit of I would put on the same movie every night. Go ahead, you can guess.
Is it School of Rock?
It's School of Rock. I would put it on every single night when I went to bed and fall asleep to just like listening to it. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't necessarily even watch it. But there were nights where I'm like, I literally would be like, I think I'm going to start at let's do 7 tonight. And it was like, or the next night is like, I'm kind of feeling like I want to pop into the movie in this feeling, this like emotional zone. So I'm going to go to like chapter 10. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I have that movie down pat. I know every line of dialogue. I know every pause. I know every note of the songs that are played. Mm-hmm. There's something about that movie. Mike White nailed it. Which, by the way, if anybody have heard or seen the show on I think it's HBO called White Lotus. That's the same dude.
Yeah.
And if you don't know who Mike White is, it's Jack Black's roommate, Ned Schneebly.
Yeah.
Is Mike White.
What a silly name.
I know. And it's like so talented. But so that and
dude, White Lotus was so good.
Was good.
I wonder if they're going to do another season of that.
I don't know.
Or if it got cut with all the writer's strike stuff.
Yeah. Maybe. I don't know. There's so much that I feel like that's up in the air with all that crap.
I know. I feel like I saw that we shouldn't expect another season of Euphoria until like 2025 now.
That one I don't care about. Sorry.
I know you didn't watch that one. I liked that show. I'm like actually rewatching it right now in the background when I'm like doing some other stuff. Because I really like Zendaya and like I don't know if I just don't know her catalog enough to know the other like serious roles that she was in or not. I just think she's like so brilliant in that show. But I remember the first time I watched it, I felt really icky because there is like, there's so much sex in that show, but all of those characters are supposed to be high schoolers, are supposed to be underage. And I have such a hard time as an adult watching that stuff and being like, this is so graphic, but these characters in the show are 17.
Yeah.
I know the actors aren't, but like it feels weird now.
I have a problem. Problem's not the right word. I have a reservation when it comes to watching basically anything that has to do with like sex scenes. It's like, to me, it's almost coming from an angle of, yeah, whatever. I've fucking seen this. I've seen this. I know what you're doing.
Yeah.
I know what you're trying to establish. Like, you literally could just give me the footnotes on this. You can imply it and then move on. I want to see the other shit. I've seen 1,000 like, bedroom scenes, or like people like getting romantic and hot and heavy and like
getting romantic,
whatever. To me, it's like it all goes the same fucking place. Like, I know exactly where this scene is going to end up, and it's just it's filler to me. And it's listen, I have nothing against fucking sex or like actually seeing it. Yeah, it's like it just feels like it's there to be there sometimes.
I just feel like it takes away from like now I know, because, and maybe this is me being like weird or whatever, I could never watch that show with Oliver. Like when Ollie is like a college student.
Euphoria?
I could never sit down and watch that. It's too much for me to watch with like really even anyone.
Yeah.
Like
I'm gonna stay up late,
which is why it's like on in the background right now. And a lot of times I like don't even have the sound on because I never know when a sex scene's gonna happen and the kids are gonna run in.
Yeah.
But like it's so beautifully shot, and Zendaya is so incredible at like portraying drug addiction and what that looks like.
Yeah.
And like that's what I want to watch sometime. Like I want to watch these things that are like beautifully shot, incredibly acted, and like serious content, but also like has enough like silly drama on the side, which is why I like the show, because of other characters like fucking like Maddie, who is like the very typical, very like popular girl.
Yeah.
Like I like the drama bits that she adds into it. But I don't know like where I was headed with all of this, other than I really wish that like I could watch that show and not
have all the
all of the really loud, long sex scenes.
Yeah.
Like I think it's important to talk about sex and to show that.
Yeah.
But like, my God, does it have to be a minutes long scene of like high schoolers? Why couldn't this have been a show that where like everybody is in college? It still would feel icky to me, but not as icky.
Are they trying to, again, because I don't watch this and I don't care to, but are they trying to, is part of the foundation of the show to illustrate specifically high school kids, or is it dramatized to like, okay, yeah, they do this, but come on, no school is like this?
I don't know. I don't know, because I think that like every high school has girls that are sleeping with guys that don't treat them well. I think every high school has students that are dealing with drug addiction or shitty home situations or shit like that. Like stuff that kids shouldn't have to deal with. Similar to this show, you have a life that you're living that you maybe shouldn't have to be living, but you are. I think obviously this is like crazy dramatized too.
Sure. Okay.
But I mean, I can immediately remember the relationships that people had in high school where it was like, girl, I know you've been dating this guy all year, but you also know that he's having sex with this girl too, but both of you know that and are getting your feelings hurt, but you're both still doing it. Like, I think that it's like, for me, the show is maybe trying to demonstrate how like fucking hard high school is for a lot of people. I think you and I got a very tamed version of high school because we found each other so early and like had a pretty healthy relationship. We didn't do a lot of the like jealousy or like we didn't intentionally try to like make the other person jealous in the way that I think some people did to try to get more attention. Like you already were giving me so much attention and letting me know that you were into it. Yeah. So, but I don't think a lot of guys do, especially in
Dude, I used to remember when we first started dating, and I'm not saying this just like when I would sit along the wall outside of the lunchroom, and I would just wait. Hold on. And every time I heard the door open, that like look of like, is it her? Is it her? And like that little flutter every
You better
shut up. It's like you'd cut. It's like, what outfit she wearing? How's her hair going? And it's like, ooh, she's here. Oh man, that's a good memory. Yeah.
Ew.
You remember though, of course.
That made my chest so tight.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, that was really cute. That was cute. Okay, yeah. So anyway, but I do think that like a lot of high school boys, and again, this could be like because of the male figures that are being modeled for them, or it could be what fucking society makes guys think they need to act like or whatever. But like, I just don't think that it was as normal to see guys just being like, oh no, I really like this girl and I'm not going to entertain anyone else, especially the guys that are like in any sort of popularity, like hierarchy, you know, like the football players. It's like, well, none of you are supposed to like your girlfriends enough that you wouldn't entertain some like side situation.
Yeah. Which
then just creates like insecurity and ickiness among all of the girls that are dating those people.
Yeah.
And I think I got lucky that I don't feel like I really ever dated anybody that made me feel that way. But definitely with you, it's like, so I think that you and I just have kind of a different view of high school. You know, we didn't go to like, we didn't go to parties at all because you were not into that. And typically we just wanted to like hang out with each other, which is maybe lame, but in the long run
it worked out.
Good for us. But yeah, so
happy, like that it happened for me early because I don't know, man. If I would have gone, I don't know who I would have been in college, if I'm being honest. Like, I feel like I would have become a recluse because that's kind of how I am anyway, is I'm very, I just want to stay inside and like be myself. You were the one who had to drag me to do anything.
Yeah, I think I would have went off the rails. Like
partying, you mean?
Yeah, because I think I'm such a people pleaser and I'm such a like mirror of where I'm at.
Yeah.
That like I would have wanted to put myself in the social situations and then I would have wanted to have a good time like everyone else. So I would have been looking at what they're doing to have a good time and then I would have done that. I think I would have not been as
that's okay. I mean, you could like, I feel like there's a part of me too that could say maybe not. Maybe in college I would, like if I hadn't had a person, because for me, I will say for a long time, and maybe, I don't know, maybe this is embarrassing, but for the longest time, I had this feeling about myself of, God, this is so embarrassing. Yeah. Of like all the girls who said no to me or thought I was a dork or just like, nah, pass. I always had this like fantasy of somehow, I don't even know what it looks like. Of like, I'll show them. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to get me a real good girl and I'm going to be successful and like, you're going to be sorry you said no to me.
Sure.
But no, I truly felt like, I don't know, now that I'm, in my 30s and we've been doing this for a long time, I truly do feel I had very real feelings at 15 and 16. Like that, I think they really developed it like 16.
Yeah.
Like that year getting it's like, oh, this is serious.
Yeah.
I had those like that high school love that I mentioned before, like when we were like not officially dating. Those first couple times love's not the right term. I know you made fun of me last time. The infatuation, whatever.
Yeah,
I was just like, whoa, this one might be a great catch. And no, I always felt like I've got something to offer. I'm pretty sure. Why is everybody saying no? Like, and then you gave me that chance. But yeah, I feel like I'm also the type of person that if you had said no and maybe I had a couple other girlfriends that just didn't feel right. Like I very much feel like I would have just given up, at least for a while, of like, I'm not going to ask. Like if something falls into my lap and like I have a, what do they call, meet cute or whatever, if that happens to me, great. But I feel like I'd be the person to say like, I'll just go fucking work and save my money. And if someone wants some of this at some point, then it'll happen. If not,
somebody wants some of this. Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think I could have like very potentially gotten into like bad stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I think I could see a world where like I don't know that I ever would have been like a big drinker because I don't love the way that I feel after I drink. So it's like, it's not worth, drinking's fun, but it's not worth it enough to feel the hangover the next day.
Yeah.
Or to even get to that point of just being like you can't walk, you know? I don't like that feeling. But I think that like if somebody would have introduced me to some drugs that made me feel real good, I think I probably could have gotten wrapped up in that.
Yeah. Well,
But
I'm glad you didn't.
Yeah. And now I'm too scared to try anything. Even the stuff that I know probably would make me feel really good. I'm like, nah, I gotta fucking with the kids.
Yeah. Well, they'll get old and then we'll enter another chapter of our life and we'll talk about it then.
Yeah. And then maybe if I just love doing shrooms at that point, I'm like, yeah, okay, great. I'll just do them all the time because who cares? Because I'm not watching these kids, you know?
What would you, let's just explore real quick. Like on what is on the table, not to do now, but let's just hypothetically say we're going to set a 10-year anniversary drug plan from today. So that means, Simon will be what, 12?
Mm-hmm.
And then Oliver will be out.
Mm-hmm.
Kids are getting older. They staying at a friend's house for the weekend, whatever. We've got the time. This is a new chapter we can take now safely.
Yeah.
What are a couple things that would be on the table for you? And what are maybe a couple things that are completely off?
Shrooms are on the table. Molly's on the table. I don't know how different Molly is from ecstasy, but I would probably entertain ecstasy.
Okay.
I'm not.
Ecstasy is in Molly.
Yeah, is it the same thing?
Pretty sure ecstasy
I don't fucking know.
is Molly, and I don't say it and be wrong. Go ahead. What else?
I'm not super interested in acid. It just doesn't like sound like something I want to do. I would entertain ayahuasca because I like the idea that like somebody's fucking with you on that, right? Like somebody's helping you through that shit.
Yeah. Yeah, it's MDMA, ecstasy, Molly, Mandy, Pingers.
There's a part of me that wants to say I would try Coke, but I remember my dad telling me once that Coke is too good to try because then I'll want it all the time.
Yeah.
And it's too expensive to want it all the time. Thankfully for me, I have a dad that has tried a lot of things. So a lot of times I can just ask him and he's like, some of that's worth it and others it's just not because it's
some of that old school shit too. Like he'd tell me some of his like mescaline stories and your dad didn't fuck around. That's for sure.
Well, apparently my dad did.
He did fuck around.
But yeah, I mean, I just, I would be totally fine literally never drinking again.
Yeah. No, me too.
I just don't like it enough.
Yeah.
I don't like the taste of it enough. Sometimes I really love a shot of tequila, but outside of that, like I don't want to like sip on something,
Yeah.
that tastes bad. I just want to,
and I never like tequila.
And I don't like,
thanks for the salt water, guys.
Ugh. Man, I love the salty in me loves a shot of tequila.
No, it literally makes me go.
But especially since like I did that really, really clean eating all last year. Now, like, really fruity drinks, like it's like too much sugar. It like hurts my stomach immediately.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Would you do?
Not interested in like super duper crazy hard drugs.
Would you be interested in even a low dose? Would you be interested? Because again,
I would do ketamine at a place. I don't think I would want to do ketamine like at home.
Okay.
Like I know that you've talked about the like the mail service that they have.
I won't say it because there's a few of them. And hey, if you want to all sponsor someday, I'll pick one of you
someday.
But yeah, there's like at-home ketamine services where they compress it into a pill.
Yeah.
And
I would do it maybe in like an office setting. There are certain things I just would like want a medical professional to be like, make sure I'm not going to just lose it, you know?
Yeah. I want to, my dream, just so everybody knows what I'm like personally fighting for, is I love these like infusion trips where I go, and I'll be very transparent. I think I've said it before. It's like my dose is like 160 milligrams. I think it's milligrams or milliliters. Sorry, one or the other. It's a lot. They started me at 60 and then they gradually worked me up. And then I remember asking after like the 5th time they kept bumping me up. I was like, is this a normal dose? And they're like, it's on the high end. It's pretty high. I'm sure there's people who are way more than me. But where was I going with? Oh yeah. So that's like the infusions. But then now, yeah, they have these services where they'll compress them into a pill, and then you can kind of modulate, from my understanding. I don't want to speak wrong on it, but you still work with a doctor and they give you the right, amount. But my personal dream is that this, in the next several years, becomes a focus of much more study and development and access, so that essentially microdosing is more of an option for people. So like, would I want to do a 150, 160 milliliter trip every day? Hell no.
Yeah.
Hell no. Would I want to do little, 2-3 milligram squirts in I know they make like, it's almost like Flonase. They do make that, but it's like heavily regulated right now. But if like something like that was more accessible, but I cannot tell you how euphoric and happy and light I feel in that first like 5-10 minute little come on when you feel it start to enter your bloodstream. And so, but this is just me as a user, obviously no scientific, whatever behind it. But for me, in a perfect world, if I had access to literally just take a little sniff and it lasts for, an hour or whatever, and it's just a slight modulation on life to make it better. It's no different than taking a daily pill or whatever, or twice a daily pill. You're just modulating your brain chemistry to make a more pleasant existence. Mm-hmm. And for me, close the book. That would be my dream, is to be able to microdose ketamine in my daily life. I would give up weed, I think, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. Man,
but okay, well, it's good to know your potentials someday, because I do want to explore myself, if I'm being honest. We've been open about that, but I'm also very aware of the stage I'm in as a dad, as a husband, in my career, and I'm not looking to dabble in anything at all like that right now, but I'm open to it when I'm older, when I've lived more of my life and my kids are less dependent on me day to day, hour to hour,
Yeah.
And I can have time to do more exploration. I'm not in a rush, but I'm very excited for the day that you and I enter this whole other chapter where it's like, I feel like it'll feel like a full circle. And I'm sure if anybody's out there who has been married for, several years, or has had kids who have grown up and are now out, is it a full circle thing? Like when the kids leave, let's say when Simon is out of high school, chooses a college or chooses a career or whatever, and it's back to you and me, baby. Does it feel like kind of high schooly again? Like we're learning to live together in a new way. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I'd be very curious to know how people who, like your parents who have seen kids come and go.
My parents immediately found fucking dogs to take over. And I would love if you and I could not do that right away.
Okay.
Because their dogs kind of like rule the roost.
Do you want any kind of animals?
I would be fine with us getting to a point, and I know you don't actually, I've brought this up before and you're like, I don't know. I would love to take in senior dogs.
See, I couldn't do that. Because I'm the one who has to bury them.
Okay.
That's just point blank. That's what it is. Like I get a take. I'm very much that guy who's like, no dogs, not another dog. And then, 2 days later, it's like, hey, this is my dog. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
That's both of our dogs that we have now were dogs that you got.
Yeah. Anyway, before we wrap it up, I did think of a few more shows.
Okay.
That I was actually surprised I didn't see people mention, but maybe I just didn't get to it. Bananas in Pajamas.
Oh yeah.
Which I can't even begin to remember what that fucking show was about.
I don't either, but it is like blue and white striped pajamas, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Also, Bear in the Big Blue House.
Oh yeah. So no, that's the wrong show. He sings to the moon at the end, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was about to sing Out of the Box.
Yeah, you love.
Oh my God, I didn't mention. So y'all,
you love that show. How
y'all
could you not
listen.
mention?
One of my favorite shows growing up was Out of the Box, Out of the Box. Oh, that theme song fucking it goes so hard. But I went through this phase. It's pretty recently, right? Within the last year, where I would put on just the ending song that they would sing. It was their So Long Farewell song.
We should sing it as the outro.
Oh, okay. Okay. We sure will, because we can do it, right?
Yes, we can do it.
Okay.
Our kids love that.
All right. So we'll sing that on our outro. But yeah, I would put on, there was a YouTube channel that had a playlist of like every single outro they ever did. And I would do that to put Simon to sleep. And it kind of worked. And then I put a social media post about that. And Tony himself, y'all, responded. He didn't just like it. He commented something to the effect of like, oh, I hope Simon gets all the sleep, in dreamland, blah, blah, blah. It was so like, oh, Tony. Like, oh. When my childhood, like when there's a connection to my childhood like that is so tangible. That's a screenshot. I want to like print them out and like keep them on my wall. Like, he talked to me. Pappy talked to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just so, yeah, I love being able to place in space and time a tangible connection to my childhood.
Yeah.
It's so fun.
Yeah. And then the last one, which I know we've talked about before.
Sorry.
And we need to find the score. It has to be somewhere, is Little Bear.
Mm-hmm.
I love that show so much. And I thought it was so sweet. But I would love to have the score for that. And they have to have it on a fucking record somewhere. So we need to track it down.
I always equate Little Bear and Franklin as being like the same.
Me too. I feel like maybe they were on back to back.
Yeah.
So it was like maybe Franklin and then Little Bear.
I feel like they lived in the same town too. That's like the way it feels.
Like absolutely the same universe. But I just liked Little Bear more.
Yeah.
There's
Okay.
something about it. And that how
does the theme song of that go? Do you remember? Because I remember Franklin.
I don't know that Little Bear had
Is it more just like a tune?
I think it was the tune. I think it was that like bum bum bum.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Whereas Franklin had the hey,
it's Franklin.
Yeah.
Love that shit. All right.
But yes, we got to wrap up though, because we're starting back to regular school.
Now,
you guys,
going back.
We are done. Homeschooling is over. We tried it. It did not go well, but we gave it a good effort. My God, I'm ready for this kiddo to go back to school. So we got to wrap up so we can get Ollie squared away for bed.
Okay.
So,
well, a couple things to mention is the Christmas ornament thing. We're going to redo this set in a few weeks.
We're going to buy everything for it next week.
Yeah.
So probably 2 weeks out, the set will be different, but the tree will be empty.
Yeah, maybe we'll do an episode or so with like empty trees.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're going to get more than one, I think. I want to try to get one to the right. I want to see if I can squeeze one back here. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then, we'll do, the majority of people voted on the 3rd.
Yeah, I think we just do
December.
that. December 3rd.
So that's when we will open any ornaments that y'all send in.
We're going to do a live stream. So, and also I've seen a couple of people are going to like wait to decorate their tree at the same time, which would be kind of fun. You don't have to.
Yeah, that's cute.
But that'd be fun.
But also, you don't have to because we decorated our personal tree this weekend.
Yeah, it's done.
So
we're done. We're weirdos. Yeah.
No, we just, hey, listen, there is nothing cozier and
shut up.
lovely for me than Christmas season. Like,
yeah,
it's why our shit stays up until the snow goes away.
Yeah. And we'll be posting the address you can send your ornament to later this week.
Yep.
You're going tomorrow, but
we're going tomorrow. I'm hoping that we will be able to have the address in like the description of this episode.
Yeah.
But if it's not there, it's because we don't have it yet.
Yeah.
But it'll get done.
And we'll put it in the group too. I think a lot of people who will do this are also in the Facebook group.
Yeah, we'll make sure it's posted in numerous places and it'll be on the website and all of that too once we have it. But we love so much that so many people actually like y'all would want to take the time to make something to send in for that. I think it'll be so cute once it's done. It will be a really sweet little tradition.
This is going to be for the song. Sorry, I just pulled a pumpkin out. And I have to do.
As soon as the words escaped my mouth, I thought, please forget that I said that because I don't actually want to sing this song.
Oh, no, we're going to do it. And then there's the Halloween one where he actually does it on the pumpkin. So I know it's past Halloween now, but.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, anyway, if you have not joined the Facebook group, please, we'd love to see you in there. You can just search on Facebook, Broken Youth Club. Everybody in there is so great, so sweet. It feels like people have been really active in there recently.
Yeah.
Which I'm feeling a little bad because I'm not in there as much as I would like to be. I think that like my weeks have just kind of been getting past me the last couple. So
it's starting to get to a point where I do have, and I think as long as I'm vocal about it, we'll get a little bit of grace here. It's starting to get big enough that I don't see necessarily every post until like several hours later. And I never, ever want that to come across as like, well, Logan or Kay did respond to my post, but they did this. So I'm trying to get in there more and like go back.
Well, and what I think is super weird is like, sometimes I'll pop in there and I'll see where people have tagged me and stuff. And I'll like start, I'll comment on it or whatever. But like, I got a notification today for a post and it was like, hey, so-and-so tagged you in something 5 hours ago. But when I clicked on it, it was literally from like a week and a half ago.
Oh.
So it's also like Facebook isn't notifying me in the right times.
But I am happy. We do have a couple.
We have a couple moderators in there that are really great.
And then just seeing everybody else kind of take up the torch of like, that's the whole point was like community too.
Yeah.
Like I didn't want it to be like, this is just like Kate and Logan and then everybody else. I want it to be like, no, this is for everyone.
Yeah.
So everybody.
And it feels like we're getting there. So if you are not in there, would highly recommend it. Would love to see you in there. If you have a story you would like to share with us, you can send that over to mylife@brokennouthclub.com. We still have the phone line, which will be in the description because we don't ever remember what that phone number is. If you prefer to call and leave a message there rather than type out your story, that's always an option. It's just a recording service. It doesn't actually ring through anywhere for us to pick up and answer it. But we will listen to it and share it. And yeah, I think
we're going to do a song now. We're not going to do the normal stumble out of this.
My God.
So I'm going to start with the beat.
I want to die.
Yeah. So right now, actually, the music should fade down. So they're focused even more into about what we're about to do.
I'm going to cheer you on.
Nope. You're going to do it with me. Ready?
The whole song?
The whole thing. It's not that long. Ready? Here we go.
I want to die.
So long, farewell to you, my friend. Goodbye for now. Until we meet again. I said so long. Where you at? What are you doing?
Logan, no, wait. I really can't.
It's been great to play and sing together in the box, but now it's time to say goodbye. So what? You had to at least do that part.
No, I started to get nervous. I couldn't remember what.
All right, yeah, we'll see you next week.
Sorry, biffed it. Love you. Bye.
Bye.